Big day on the retail beat as same-store sales roll in from coast to coast as chain store sales come in on the weak side. Retail watcher Stacey Widlitz is going to give us her take in just a minute. She's just back from London, where we just saw Kelly. But first, Courtney Reagan has all the details. Court?
What a messy month, Tyler. I mean, June same-store sales were up just 0.1%. That's the worst reading in 3 years, according to Thomson Reuters. But ex-drugstores index actually up 2.5%. Retailers blaming everything from the weak economy, exchange rates, difficult comps, calendar shifts, and, of course, weather. Macy's, Kohl's, Target, and Costco all miss expectations. Costco says the timing of the 4th of July hurt. Last year, those sales were captured in June comps, but not this year. Kohl's and Target note sales were weakest in the South, impacted by Hurricane Debbie. Remember her? But the bifurcated success continues. Nordstrom and Saks both report strong June comps, lifting other luxury names in trade today, like Ralph Lauren and Coach. Off-price retailers TJX and Ross stores continue their strong sales trend, and both up their guidance. TJX trading at record highs. Limited can thank its Victoria's Secret Angels for another strong month. Victoria's Secret posting 30 straight quarters of comp sales of 7% or higher. Overall, June's comps, though, are concerning. The second most important season for retail, back to school, just weeks away.
So the retailers, let me get this straight, we're complaining about the timing of July 4th, huh?
I know.
I think it's usually on July 4th, right?
It is usually on July 4th, but the way they count those days for the month, I know, and it sounds silly.
Yeah, it does sound a little silly, but let's get Stacey's thought on this. Were the numbers really as weak as they sound?
Well, there's no question that things are decelerating, and, 2/3 of the retailers reporting today did miss, not by a huge amount. There were certainly ones that did miss, like Kohl's, but the stock is rallying today because expectations were low. Certainly Gap was okay here. The question is, how promotional were they? The international business was a bit of a wreck. I've been over in London, and certainly Gap is running 75% off sales right now, so that's not really a surprise here.
So Target, Kohl's, even Costco, which has been really a very successful franchise, obviously, they came in a little bit weaker, but the luxury brands seem to be doing all right. The Saks's, the Nordstroms, right?
Well, so far, you're seeing mixed. So I was actually surprised today that Nordstrom and Saks were as strong, because if you look at all these brands, China's slowing. We know that. We've heard from Tiffany and Coach and Prada talking about the Chinese consumer is traveling less. They're pulling back. So I would watch out for the luxury sector. Certainly Nordstrom is less apt to look at tourism hits. Interesting, Macy's pointed out today that things in the tourism category actually hold in.
In other words, tourists coming to the U.S. to shop.
Absolutely.
And not as many are doing that, or they're not shopping as aggressively when they get here.
Exactly. So, for example, Tiffany, 40% of their sales in the flagship store comes from tourism. So when that slows, it's a huge dent for them.
That's an amazing fact.
It's a huge number.
Stacey, thanks so much.
Thank
we should
you.
point out that Stacey does own Limited and Tiffany. I bet you own some things from Limited and Tiffany. Maybe?
Maybe a couple.
Maybe. All right, good.